Hey,
What's going on?
what's going on? Thank you so much for joining us. I do apologize for some technical difficulties in the beginning there. So
It
didn't
wouldn't be
get
any
to get
fun if
on
there
right.
wasn't any technical difficulties. It wouldn't be any fun. Come on.
I know exactly that part. Oh my goodness. So welcome, everybody. This is my fellow artist, friend, brother, Des, known to you guys as Des Customs. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here on our Talk Tuesdays where we talk all things art.
Thank you for
So,
having me.
thank you. So um, I'm going to just get right into it
Okay.
just because we are kind of like behind. So anyway, since it's Black History Month and everything, my first question for you is, what was it like to do the Black History murals downtown during the riots and everything? And I think I asked this question to Levi and Sonia as well. But what was it like for you, the experience?
So, I always tell this story. At the end of the day, we're just a different shade of brown at the end of the day. And what happens to Black people in America happens to Latinos in America. And for me, the cause is the same. The purpose is the same. So I'm honored anytime that I get selected to do any type of artwork, but the protest murals, the artwork for social justice, that is a challenge um, that I'm happy to accept. And we all have a responsibility as artists. You gotta forget the gradient of our skin tone and the way we speak or our status or whatever. At the end of the day, we all have a responsibility to be at the forefront and deliver messages. And I think nothing does it like art. So for me, it was awesome, and it was right in line with everything that I believe in. It wasn't always easy. At Gallery Place, there was a gentleman who um, made a derogatory comment when a lady had walked up behind me and she was like, "Don't forget to do something about those brown babies that are getting put in cages."
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "That's a good point." And a young Black gentleman uh, told her in the not nicest of ways to forget about that cause because they not killing them brown babies. And it's one of those things wherein immediately you would my job isn't to say anything. My job is to speak through art.
Mhm.
And I was able to keep it cool. And that's right when I had finished the Dove in front of Urban Outfitters, and I had moved on to doing the Black Lives Matter graffiti in blue.
Right.
And as I was doing that, an associate of his um, came around and was like, "Yo, that's dope."
Mhm.
And I had taken my mask down to breathe for a little bit, and he was like, "Oh, you amigo?" And I was like, "Yeah." And immediately he turns around, goes to his associate, and was like, "Look, he doing this for us. He out here for us. How you
Wow.
gonna start talking reckless?" So, you know, dude came and was more receptive at that point. And
Mhm.
I think that's in a microcosm what art does. It brings people together, even if your opinions differ. And in that time, you can't blame a young man for being angry and irritated and whatever he may have been. I mean, these things have been going on for far too long.
Right. Absolutely. I definitely agree with you. I think that we can all share that common goal as far as artists, to share our painting and our message through our art is very, very, I think is more powerful sometimes than just speaking. I think we can do more of that. And, as a Creole myself, I think that I can relate to you as far as not just being black, but other ethnicities as well. So Yeah, it affects all of us, really, Spanish, Black, Native Americans, all of that. So,
Absolutely.
um, I agree. Now, I wanted to ask you because you were doing murals at the gallery place and you did murals, I think, on Black Lives Matter
Plaza.
Street, right?
Yep.
Right. And then with us on the church, I mean, we all kind of did that one,
Right.
the church. Um, this was through Paint Institute. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you came to partner up with Paint Institute?
So that's actually a funny story. So
Okay.
uh, I had met John, the director of Paints Institute, um, actually a few years back,
Hmm.
and uh, we just didn't, we couldn't find a way to work together. Um, I feel like it was just not a meeting of the minds at that moment. And life worked that way because I remember meeting him and I remember being like, he don't mess with me. You know, I get it. You know, it is what it is. You know,
Hmm.
on to the next one. And and I had done a painting. I had met him while doing a live painting with Sean,
Okay.
and he was familiar with Sean. I could tell he was familiar with Sean already,
Yeah.
and I thought that that was my in, but nothing came of it.
Right.
And then, funny enough, I'm I'm just scrolling through my emails, and I see an email from Paints Institute, and I didn't even remember. I didn't even put the two things together.
Mhm.
I remembered John Chisholm, and then this was Paints Institute about a mural or something. And I was like, am I late on this? I apologize. I just saw this because I think I was replying like days later, um,
Mhm.
as I am sometimes with my email. And, the response was, no, you're right on time. No sweat. Submit a couple pieces of work, blah, blah, blah. So I submitted a couple pieces of work.
Right.
In my head, I'm like, hopefully they're good enough. I got a response back. Yeah, this is what we're doing. This is what it is. Um, can you be available on these days? And this is one of those things where I don't push religion on people, but I believe God works in mysterious ways because
Mm.
at the time my business, my day-to-day business had slowed down and I was
Mhm.
starting to worry and I like really worried, like, what's gonna become of me.
Right.
Um, and literally right on time, here comes this opportunity to go paint, make some money,
Mhm.
keep the lights on, keep the mortgage paid, keep this and
Right.
that going on in a time where I was in a dark place. So, it was just an amazing coincidence slash destiny slash moment to have all of that come together at a time where I most needed it. And I think it was a mutual benefit because I was out there trying to show my ass. I was out there trying to stay, trying to get called back. So I was out there on my hustle out there.
Right.
And so I think that really sparked a lot of creativity. It sparked a
Mhm.
lot of I, what I feel was good quality work coming out of me because of the fact that it was almost a moment of desperation for me.
Mm. Wow, that's deep. Wow, and you're I must say, you are so amazing when it comes to spray paint. Like I've never seen. No, I'm dead serious. Like, you know, I'm still learning that technique, but I know I can pick up a lot from you and your technique with the spray painting. And I mean, what was it that, got you started with, that technique of spray painting? Or did you always spray paint?
So I'm gonna date myself, but when I was younger,
Mhm.
I watched Beat Street, and
Oh,
Ramo was my guy. I was like,
yes.
oh my God, look what he does. Look and my mom was like, if you ever get caught out there painting in these streets, I don't know you. I will not get you. You will stay there. And I was like, okay. But fortunately, and I would have to, so I grew up with a single mom. My dad lived in Silver Spring. I grew up in Arlington,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have to ride the red line up to Silver Spring to go see my dad.
Oh, okay.
And back in the day, the red line was just full of graffiti art. I mean, once you came out of the tunnel in DC, around that Brookland area, it's
Mm-hmm.
just, I mean, beautiful art everywhere,
Wow.
everywhere. So that Beat Street plus the red line got
Wow.
me enamored with graffiti art. So I would draw it and draw it and draw it. And finally, when I was 16, my dad had a body shop, and
Okay.
um, my dad and I don't speak, but he did give me so he had a huge body shop in Silver Spring. So he would just buy me spray paint and would be like, yeah, 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 go spray in the back of the body shop. He would do this to get rid of me, but what he didn't know was he was allowing me to just get down. And
Mm.
um, so that grew my love for graffiti art. And then um, take so I'm 44, so I'm not a young man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I airbrushing. My mom got me into airbrush when I was 11,
Mm-hmm.
and the two things really come into play with one another.
Okay.
So, long story short, the technique has just come from, you got to think, 16 years old and I'm 44 now. Like if I wasn't good, that would be a problem. Like
Yeah.
if I wasn't okay with it, I would
Mm-hmm.
have to try something new, try something different, because there would be something really wrong after 28 years of not being able to
Right.
do something.
Right.
Yeah. So
Wow. That's amazing. So like was that basically that whole experience that was what sparked that in you? Yes. You would say?
yeah, I mean, Beat Street. Well, okay. So drawing, I would get in trouble for drawing, like on my assignments, on my homework, on everything. So I would draw on everything. And funny enough, my mom has always been my biggest fan and
Mm-hmm.
my biggest defender. And all right, so I'm gonna tell two stories real quick, and I don't want to
Yeah,
get
go ahead.
long-winded, but the first one is, so I won a competition in kindergarten for making posters
Oh
for
wow.
Colgate. So I don't know if you remember, but they would come to the schools with that little red dot that you would put in your mouth,
Yes.
and they would tell you where you didn't brush correctly.
Yes, I remember that.
So my poster consisted of a toothpaste bottle, a toothbrush, a thing of floss, and that red dot chasing down this little piece of tar. And they were
Wow.
chasing it down to beat it up. And so I won a 50.
That's okay. Technical difficulties. 1 second, you guys. You good?
Sorry,
No,
sorry.
you're
Yeah,
good.
my
Oh no. Is
hold on,
that is that
somebody.
good?
What are you doing?
Hey, I got some crazy.
Hold on. I'm live on Instagram right now, bro. I, I'm live. I'm live doing an interview. I can't. I love you. I'll call you back. I got.
I found it.
Oh, you found it. Okay. I love you. I'm gonna tell that story on live. Go on live. Go watch live. Sorry,
No,
a
you
buddy of
gotta
mine.
go to this
All right.
story. You
Okay.
gotta tell the story.
Hold on. Let me finish this one. So I won a $50 U.S. savings bond way
Hmm.
back, 100 years ago. Which if I still had, I'd be. But and so and my mom was huge with, like, she pushed me to do the best job I could. We had a
Uh-huh.
week to get it done. I got it done in 2 days because my mom was like, no, you're gonna work on it.
Right.
So that was the first time where I experienced victory through art, and it was because of my mom. And
Okay.
then the the other story is, so we went to Miami one year, and we were in this we went to the beach, and I had a white t-shirt, and I had drawn with a permanent marker on the back of the white t-shirt. And I was a
Mm.
kid. I was 11 years old. And So we go to the beach. It's hot. It's Miami. I'm a chubby little Spanish kid. Of course, I'm sweating. So we go to the airbrush stand, and I'm like, Mom, look, he draws on T-shirts like I do, innocently
Mm.
enough, right? And people were chuckling, and I paid it no mind. I was like, I get back to the family's house we were staying at. I take the shirt off, and it had run all down the back, so the artwork would look like garbage. And
Oh,
at that moment, I realized that the people were laughing at me, not
oh,
not that it was adorable or anything. They were laughing at me, and I fell apart. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed, and I got mad at my mom, and I was like, "Why wouldn't you tell me?" And my mom was like, "What were you gonna do? Change? We didn't have any other
oh,
clothes, you know."
right.
So, but she saw how hurt I was. We got back from Miami, and a week later, I had an airbrush, and we couldn't afford the compressor, but she bought me four of these compressed air cans that you would use if you couldn't afford a compressor.
Oh,
And that was the beginning of my airbrush career, was my mom. And when my mom gave it to me, my mom says, "Do you know why I got this for you?" And it wasn't Christmas, it wasn't my birthday, it wasn't anything. And I
mm-hmm.
said, "I don't know." And she was like, "Because nobody laughs at my son."
Mm.
And so mom basically started the whole airbrushing career um, for me. And I'm always grateful, and she's always been my biggest supporter. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I got stories upon stories of her just coming through for me. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, so really it's all because of mom. And so that story, the gentleman that kept calling me, he was excited because he bought a painting from me about 12 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it was one of the best ones I've ever done, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion. And he had thought it lost, and he just found it right now.
Oh,
Just found,
wow.
and his excitement was he had to tell me that he found it,
Wow.
because he was like, and that's why he kept calling back. I would hang up, and he kept calling back because he was like, "No, you got to know." And I was like, "I'm on an interview," and he's like, "No, look." And he FaceTime and he shows me, and it's one of my favorites. And and he's a huge, he's another gentleman that has helped me through a lot of things in my life. Because this career it hasn't been roses and sunshine for me. I've been
Mm.
homeless for this. We've been evicted for this. Um, so uh, so his help, sometimes he would come to the house and he would just buy pieces because he knew I wouldn't take a handout,
Yeah.
but he wanted to give me money. So he would just be like, "All right, I'll take that, that, and that."
Oh,
And he'd be like, "What's the price?" And I give him a
right.
price, and he would just give it to me. So
Amazing.
I've been blessed to be surrounded by really, really wonderful people.
Yes. And that's a beautiful story. All of them were beautiful stories. I mean, that's your mother is always your number one supporter. I truly believe that, you know. Um, I don't think like for me, I wouldn't be painting if it wasn't for my mother and my father for sure. But mostly my mother because she's
Awesome.
number one, you
Right.
know.
Right.
Absolutely. So, since we just celebrated Super Bowl Sunday, let's get into these cleats, man. Like, tell me, I want to know what inspires these amazing. And if you guys have not seen his cleats, I'm sorry, I was gonna say just regular shoes. These are not regular shoes. These are cleats done by him. You have to go check out his page because these are amazing. Do you use the
Airbrush.
airbrush for those too?
So, I don't know if I have permission to give you guys a sneak peek of something that I'm working on. All right. No, no. You know what? I'm going to be a
Do you have
professional.
something old that you could probably show?
No, we're in the lab right now, but everything is, and Paints Institute commissioned a couple pieces that I'm working on right now, but
Oh,
I don't have permission to use them or show them, so I'm gonna
got
leave
you.
them be. But so the shoes are a combination of airbrush and paintbrush, for the finer details, uh, you know, okay, basically covering an entire shoe with paint requires an airbrush and it requires the paint to be a certain viscosity. You have to keep it
Right.
kind of thick so that it covers well and it gives you a good surface.
Hmm.
And then you could get into somewhat detail with that. But if you try to go like really detailed, you'd have to thin the paint out, drop the pressure on your airbrush, and then
Hmm.
we try to work efficiently because it is a business
Yeah.
that I do with my partner, Creative Custom Kicks. Follow him too; he's really dope.
Yeah. We're
Um,
gonna get into that too.
so, uh, so in order to keep in a timely manner, what I'll do is I'll get to a certain level of um, it's basically like doing a larger piece or a board. I'll go in there and start it off with the spray paint and get as close as I can get in with detail, and then come in with the brush and give it those last little eyelashes or whatever.
Hmm.
Same thing. You try
Okay.
to get as much as possible, get your tones in there, blot it all in, and then switch over to the brush and go from there.
Mm. But they, I mean, they look flawless. Like, and the detail is amazing.
We
You know.
You know, that was one of the most nerve-wracking parts of getting that call from Paints Institute was the fact that I had, for the last 6 years, other than, canvas stuff that I do for myself,
Hmm.
I've been working no bigger than, maybe uh, at, like a 4x5, as far as canvases go. And then I'm just doing it for me. I'm doing it for me and then somebody buys it, or nobody's buying paintings that size for me yet.
Right.
Um, so for the majority of my work for the last 5 or 6 years has been this big. And
Mm.
then
Okay.
here I get a call and it's like, all right, we're going to do murals. You're probably going to do 5 of them and they're all going to be 6 feet or 8 feet by 4 feet. And
Right.
it's like, oh damn, uh, I got to switch gears. But fortunately, the spray paint background helped out a lot, like a
Right.
ton. So
Hmm.
that was a blessing.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing to see the different scales that you use, you know, for going from grand scale to small, you know. Um, is there a technique that you would share with the fellow artists out here, um, or any pointers that you may have for other artists that if they're trying to, you know, spray paint, airbrush?
Uh, Patience and immersion. A lot of people want the result without the pain of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not, I, nobody picks something up. I mean, unless they're like a savant or something, but nobody picks something up and is amazing at it that day.
Right.
Um, I'm 44 years in, so that means I've been airbrushing for 33 years, which is horrible to say, like when you think
Mm.
about it. And like I'm old, but so I've been spray painting for 28 years. I've been painting my entire life. So
Yeah.
you know, if you if you want to learn a technique, immerse yourself. You have to be fearless about it. Don't, you know, you're not going to go to somebody's house, borrow their stuff, work for 2 hours, and then come back a week later, work for 2 more hours, and get good.
Mm.
Save your chips, get on Amazon, buy yourself an airbrush, buy yourself a compressor, and immerse you. If you have a 9 to 5 that takes you away from art, when you come back, don't get into your comfort zone. Your comfort zone won't teach you anything.
Right.
Get into this thing that has you frustrated, that has you wanting to chuck stuff out the window. Get into that and work on that until you but you have to immerse yourself. A lot of people won't get it. They'll try for days, weeks, maybe even a month. And then I'm gonna go back into my comfort. And I hear
Mm-hmm.
this excuse, I hate this one. Oh, I just needed to know that I still had it. If you
Oh,
had it a month ago, you got it a month from now. Don't do
right,
that. Don't
right,
lie to yourself. What you're doing
right.
is you're going back to get a cheap win. You already know you can win over there, so you're going back over there to win. Don't do that. Stay
Yeah.
over there, take your lumps, you'll be stronger for it.
Mm-hmm.
So just immerse yourself and talk to someone that knows what they're doing. That's the other part. When I say immerse yourself, I don't mean frustrate the hell out of yourself.
Right.
Immerse yourself and get someone that knows what they're doing. Work with them. If you
Mm-hmm.
can't work with them, if they're busy all the time, buy their time. Because you're not, most people be like, well, I ain't gonna pay somebody to teach me what I can learn on my own. No, dummy. That money going out is you investing in you.
Right.
That's not really money going out. That's money. Yeah, it goes into somebody else's pocket, but the knowledge that they can impart
Right.
probably has way more value than the money that they're asking you for.
Yeah.
That, like, I hear the worst excuses sometimes, and a lot of it is just ego. It's just ego. Or it's
That
it's
part.
ego or fear. And I tell people all the time, man, that comfort is your worst enemy.
Mm.
Be afraid, because 9 times out of 10, anything I've done afraid, I've done well,
Yeah.
because
I agree with you.
I've been more afraid to fail than I have been to do the thing.
That part. I totally agree with you. I know so many times I've had projects and I'm just like, the enemy will be like, can't do this in 2 hours and then turn it into somebody. No. And then the God will be like, yes, you can. You can do it. You have 2 hours, get it done. And you can do it. And
Yeah.
I think I totally agree with you that I've so many times come across people that, you know, second guess themselves or, oh, I used to paint. I don't really do it anymore. Why not? You know?
Most people will talk themselves out of doing something more than they'll just have succeeded if they just did it.
Mm-hmm.
I see
Yeah.
it. I see it a lot. I see it often.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, we all, and you can tell me if you agree with this, but we all have those moments where we hit a roadblock, right? Like where you get like, oh my gosh, I've hit this wall and I'm trying to figure out different creative things to do or paint. Even though you're drawing and stuff all the time, but it's like something major creative. Have you ever had that stumbling block or roadblock or, like, oh,
100%. Like, you're not you're not gonna be on it all the time. You're not gonna be. Um, every project is, look, it's funny. Like any sport you ever watch, um, you know, I more than anything, I take baseball, because baseball is pretty much one guy at the plate and one guy pitching the ball.
mhm,
Every pitch isn't a strikeout,
yeah,
and every hit isn't a home run.
right,
But they go day in, day out. They take their at bats. Sometimes the batter wins, sometimes the pitcher wins. They still got a job to do. If you're a full time artist, you keep walking. If it's
right,
not, you hit a roadblock, fair enough. Even if you got to take the long way around it, get around it. Get around it. Um, I've been fortunate that I can reach out to. Uh, art is a frustrating business. It's not like it's always great. Um,
right,
I've developed a good core group of people that I can reach out to, and sometimes just the conversation will start art, but it'll become something completely different.
yeah,
And that's such a huge help, because sometimes it's you just got to separate yourself from it a little bit or hear it in another perspective. Like, you know, I can I've reached out to SP plenty of times, just
hmm,
just to talk art, just to shoot the breeze.
yeah,
Levi is somebody that I have grown close to over just a short period of time,
yeah,
and the majority of that is, yeah, there's a respect for his art, but a lot of it is his perspectives are always different than mine.
Mm,
And sometimes we'll have to just agree to disagree. Like
right.
we won't finish the conversation agreeing,
Hmm.
but we'll have made each other at least see a different side. And it's the same thing with art. Like you hit an obstacle. There's definitely another way. You just
Yeah.
sometimes you got to reach out or you got to find it yourself.
Yeah. I agree. Definitely. Everybody has a different perspective,
Hmm.
but it doesn't mean that you're wrong or right. It's different.
Different. Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, speaking of Levi, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the spray paint business that you guys have going on. Tell me a little bit more about, or tell the audience some more about that and how it got
So,
started.
so Levi. Funny enough, Levi and I met at 655 New York Avenue at
Hmm.
the first mural location that we had with Paints Institute,
Right.
and like I think him being from Jersey and me just being a little bit insane and outgoing, like immediately we were like, we're not that different, you and I. We're not that different. Um, and then, you know, I I think what was the funniest part of that day was I was so worried because I know SP is a dynamo. And of course I looked up Levi Robinson. I'm seeing his art on his page and I'm like,
Right.
Jesus Christ. Like, oh my God. Um, and then I'm looking at the other people and they got mural experience. And I'm sitting there like, oh man. I was like, I've done walls, but I'm not a
Mm.
muralist.
Right.
That's me in my head. That's me in those
Yeah.
moments where like, I don't know if I can do this. Um, and I got there and all I did was just like I got to work because it was fear. It was like, man,
Mm.
I got to show out. I'm amongst dope artists. I got to show out.
Wow.
And I started and I finished one. And then I remember I finished a piece and then I grabbed some food and then I finished the other piece and then I kept looking at them. And I remember spending like 20 minutes, like, is there anything more that I could do? Is there anything that I forgot? Is there anything more? And I kept, and I was, because I was afraid to walk away and walk around the corner and see their stuff and be like, dope, and not be satisfied with my work.
Yeah.
So my wife always serves as the calming entity in my life. So I
Right.
can, because look, being a business owner,
Right.
having multiple businesses
Mm.
during a pandemic,
Yes.
being a father, being a breadwinner, being, I speak to at-risk youth. My anxiety goes nuts sometimes, and
Right.
sometimes I'll just call her and be like, "I just need to hear your voice. Talk for 5 minutes," and she'll talk about work or how the receptionist is not bright or something, and everything just goes down. So I sent her the pictures. I said, "What's missing?" And she goes, "Go home." And I was
Hmm.
like, "Okay." So I come around the corner, and again, I'm coming around the corner like, oh, man. And I get around the corner, and most people are still setting up, like getting stuff ready or plotting stuff down.
Right.
And that's when I realized I was like, man, I've been here for 3 hours and 20 minutes, and I'm done with both my pieces.
Wow.
And Levi was like, the hell you are. And I was like, nah, man. He was like, I was like, spray paint, man. Like it's easier and it doesn't and I don't know, man. And so but it was in that instant that I was like, I belong here. I belong with these cats. I belong out here.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm kind of dope. Um, and so Levi, it was in that that here's the wisdom of the beard that Levi has, right?
Uh-huh.
So Levi goes, spray paint equals efficiency equals I can get the hell out of here and off my old ass feet faster.
Mm.
So Levi immediately, like day one, is like, yo, we're gonna need to work. I need to get there. And I'm like, bet. And what does Levi do? Levi comes with me to the graffiti shop. gets a bunch of cans,
Mm.
and immerses himself. Levi has this story of being in his backyard spray painting,
Right.
and some dude coming up to him and being like, "Hey man, I know a guy named Des Customs that does stuff like that." And Levi was like, "Get the hell out of my yard." But so and for us, it was so I brought the idea to Levi, and I'm like, "Look, there there are these cans, right? And they're low pressure cans because I know a lot of our peers don't work with spray paint a lot. So low pressure cans make life easy. They're easier
Yeah,
to control.
for me.
And I had I had this wholesale account, and I forgot that I established it like 4 years ago because I
Mm.
was going to open up a shop 4 years ago, but things happen and yada
Right.
yada. So and I was like, this gives me an avenue because Montana 94s are like $7, and Montana Golds are like 750 a pop.
Right.
And I was like, yo, this gives us an opportunity for our to provide our peers with a good product at a lower price. These are
Right.
$5 cans, and they're just as good because I ordered some for myself and I tested them out. And I'm like, they're actually lower pressure. So it's
Mm.
even better for some of the people that are learning because they get to learn on a lower pressure. It's easier to control. It's a
Mm.
lower price. And if they buy in bulk or they pre-order, we can even drop better prices for them.
Right.
And Levi was like, I'm in. And I was
Mm.
like, for real? Like, I thought I was going to have to sell him more. And he was like, send me the numbers. Let me look at the numbers. If it is what you say it is, I'm in. So I sent him the numbers and he was like, yeah, it looks right. I'm in. I'm ready. Let's do it. Because worst case scenario, if we had to buy back every can from ourselves, I spent this past summer, I spent what I spent on inventory.
Right.
If I sell it to other people, I sell it at a profit. If I sell it
Yeah.
to myself, I'm gonna I'm using it to make money. So either way, I have to be honest to the business and sell it to myself because
Mhm.
Levi's a partner.
Right.
So now I gotta pay damn near retail because that's the right way to do it. But
Yeah.
I now have I don't gotta and here's the other part. Here was our biggest selling point is where we have All City located, we're gonna have boards there,
Mm.
outside around back. So if you come and you buy from us, you got a space to practice
Right.
and you got people that are knowledgeable. If you go to Plaza, they don't have spray paint artists at
No.
Plaza to help. They'll tell you what the caps do. That's it. They're
Yeah.
not going to tell you how if you hold it and you cut a line sideways, you're going to get a miss this way. You're going to get a sharp line here. They're not going to tell you how a fat cap
Mm.
can be used skinny. They can't tell you all these things. We can because
Right.
we've done it throughout the summer. And worst case scenario, you know, we're what we're trying to do is be part of the community. We're trying to provide a good product at a great price and knowledge. That's
Yeah.
the other part that's going to come with it is, and we got some really exciting class things that we're going to do when the weather
Exciting.
breaks because we can be outside. We have an ample space outside, and we
Mm.
want to do classes where we'll help you create a piece on a canvas draped over a board, and you could take that canvas home. So you get to create an art piece, have
Right.
an art piece, take it home with you. If you want to sell
Yeah.
it, sell it. Whatever you want to do. But at the pricing that we're going to have the classes, it's a no-brainer. Worst case scenario, you paid to create a dope-ass piece, and you're going to take home cans. You
Yeah.
can't beat it.
Right. That's an awesome concept. And you know I'm gonna be right there learning how to work these because look, I was learning this summer how to use these spray cans and I'm just like I'm too much pressure, like you said, it's too much pressure. So I would spray it and it would be heavy and
Right,
just be,
right.
watery. And I'm like,
Well,
this is not what I
yeah,
want.
a lot of that is getting, even just the caps that you put on there.
Hmm.
They all have a different effect. Some of them will spray wide. Some of them will spray super thin.
Hmm.
Some of them give you more control at the nozzle. Like there's a lot of it. And again, a lot of it is, it's not going to happen in a day. But
Yeah.
if someone can at least tell you, this cap is, the fundamentals,
Right.
you can go home and start to
Mhm.
really work the rest of it.
Right. Right. I agree. I agree. So don't forget, I'll be coming back to you with some
Oh, I'm
pointers.
definitely, y'all gonna be the first to know. Yeah.
So we got some questions here from our audience. Let me check it
Okay.
out and see. So our first question is from Indigo Child. She says, "What ways do you cope with creative blocks? What exercises do you do?" I think we kind of covered that, but if you want to reiterate.
You know, look, I'm not saying mine are the most constructive, but every now and then you gotta let loose a little bit. I'll come down in the lab and I'll have a little glass of scotch and you know I'll just I'll just doodle a little bit while I have a couple sips and not work on the piece that I'm working on, but still try to keep creating.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not advocating drinking. I'm just saying I sometimes, it helps me to get out of my way. It helps me
Right.
to loosen up a little bit. And, to each his own, whatever it is that you need to do. But, and sometimes you do just have to walk away. You do
Yeah.
just, I've called clients and been like, listen, and look, I'm dropping a gem right now. Everybody, write this down because this will save. No, this will save you. I promise you.
So let me get
I've
my
told
pen.
I've told clients straight up, I'd rather you be mad for a couple of days
Mm-hmm.
but happy for life than be happy today because I handed you your product and be sad for life or be
Mm-hmm.
mad for life.
That
So
part.
I've called clients and been like, it's not going to be done. It's
Yeah.
not getting done. And you could be mad today. You could be mad tomorrow. You could be mad for the next week because I need another week. But
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be happy forever.
Yeah.
And I'd rather you be mad for a week and happy forever than happy today and mad forever.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, unless a client is presenting to someone else or it's a Valentine's Day gift or something crazy, clients will respect you for that.
Yes.
And it allows you, sometimes that block comes from that anxiety or that stress or whatever it is that you're putting on yourself. And sometimes just making that call
Mm.
lets you be like, okay, I'm getting the hell out of here for right now. And you do something else for 48 hours. And then
Mm-hmm.
you come back
Yep.
and you're alleviated. You're not painting with a boulder on your shoulder. You're
Right.
painting free again. You're able to create freely again.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think, um, like if you continue to work on that thing, you could mess up on it, or
Oh
then it
yeah.
just comes out all wrong. You know.
You can get to a bad place quick.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's best to walk away, take a breather.
Tell your client. Be honest with your client. If most clients want to build with artists,
Yeah.
so just be honest with your client. Look, I I ain't got it. It's not done. It's not done.
Right.
But I promise you, it's not for lack of effort. I'm just in a bad spot right now.
Yeah.
I can't pour. Listen, if you tell a client, I can't pour 100% of me into this right now, and
Right.
that's what I want to do for you, they're
Yeah.
gonna be like, get the hell off my project until you got 100.
Right.
And then you save not only your reputation, but you save the project. And at the end of
Exactly.
the day, that's really important. That's what matters because you want to build with this client. You don't
Right.
want to give them something 85% because the danger is they'll go out and they'll find somebody that gives them 100.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I couldn't agree more. Oh my goodness. That's on point. Awesome. Let me see. So we have another question.
If it's Levi about my diet, no, I haven't started. Leave me alone.
Levi, I hope you heard that. He has not started his diet. Maybe after Valentine's Day.
Right. Springtime. Springtime. I'm insulating for the winter.
I know, right? He said, damn. So, okay. So, Indigo again says, who was the first athlete client and how did you feel?
You know what? To this day, it's not even the first. I pray that Tom Brady wasn't the last, but
Hmm.
um, it was Mohamed Sanu, who is now a good friend,
Oh, wow.
actually. Um, he calls Christmas, he calls birthdays, he called my son for his birthday. Like
Oh,
he's
that's so
he's
nice.
he's one of the better human beings in the league.
Wow.
That being said, it was Mohamed Sanu, and it happened by accident. So I had a connect that was that provided sneakers to AJ Green when they both played for the Bengals,
Hmm.
and we did a pair for AJ Green, and AJ Green wasn't that type of dude. He was like, I ain't wearing it. And Sanu, who was his teammate at the time, was like, shoo, I'll take it, and took him and wore him. And so,
Wow.
and then he started calling me directly, and from there it just became we developed a friendship, and season after season, year after year, he
Mm.
comes to us, and there was a time where people were going after him, offering to do his stuff for free, and he was like, man, I got my guys, I'm good.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That is amazing.
He's an awesome, awesome dude. Like literally just one of the better people in the league.
That's awesome. And that's great that you have a rapport with him still to this day.
Yeah,
Or not a
absolutely.
rapport, I'm sorry, a friendship. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So, and let me see, I have two more questions. So, Kiana says, why would someone with your resume and experience and no one, let me see, and no one, oh, I can't understand what she's saying, and want to join an organization like DMV League? So basically, she's asking why someone with your resume would want to join the DMV League of Artists.
Well, so it's funny. All right, so this is going to be a little long-winded, but I promise you I'll try to shorten it, right?
Okay.
Um, for a long time, I have looked at art as a commodity, which of course isn't a bad thing
Hmm.
because I need to eat. This is my full-time job. I don't have a side gig that gives me a check on the first and 15th. This is it. This is all I have.
Right.
Um, and I tell everybody, artists are basically we we only eat what we kill, meaning we hunt for our food every day. And that
Mm.
mentality can quickly turn into compensation, very compensation oriented. What is in it for me?
Right.
Um, the DMV League, you know, what I what I get out of it, what I've seen is a camaraderie, first and foremost. And I think Kiana has all my respect in the world for what what she what she has been able to cultivate, not only personally but professionally, and then her dedication to the league. That's challenging for
Mm.
someone like me because she doesn't need to do it.
Right.
She's not. It's not a necessity for her to do that. She's not
Right.
making money. And so when someone sets the bar that way,
Hmm.
it starts to make you look at things in a different way. So for
Mm.
me, the DMV League is not what I can get from the DMV League. The DMV League is what could I possibly bring to the table
Right.
that may help people, or a person, or artistically, or do I have something to offer to make others better? And
Hmm.
that's not so. The only reason I say it in that manner because there are artists in the league that I completely and absolutely respect, but I only say it in that manner because there's this following, but that following I've acquired over 6 years, and some of those people used to get shoes for me all the time, but they've even outgrown it. So you got to
Mm.
think. some of my followers were in their 20s when I started doing customs,
Right.
and now they're in their 30s. They're
Mm.
over it, so they might not even look back.
Wow.
So, and okay, here's the last thing I'm going to say about, and I'll never talk about this again. But first, to answer her question, number one is, what can I give to the league? Because it's my responsibility to do so.
Mm.
Because I do have a resume, can I help others build theirs?
Wow.
That's the reason why I do that. Also, there is uh, I could easily turn 100,000 followers into 500,000 followers if I rode every single wave, did every trend,
Mm-hmm.
and flat out exaggerated, told stories, basically.
Mm.
Um, there's a lot of this that happens in the world of social media today,
Right.
wherein I could easily act like Brady called me, asked me to do these shoes. I did these shoes.
Mm.
I could turn it into that. And I'm so insignificant that Brady would probably never catch wind of it, and no one would be able to downplay that fact, right? And I could tell that story. I can make believe that Brady and I have each other's cell phone numbers, all of that.
Wow.
I don't do that. What you see in real life and what you see on social media, I'm not afraid to talk about the failures. I'm not afraid to talk about the homelessness. I'm not afraid to talk about being evicted 3 times in 3 years with my family because I was out here chasing being an artist. I'm not afraid of
Preach.
any of that, um, because I believe that all these, at the end of the day, I got to look myself in the mirror.
Right.
And I could have the world believing one thing and live in shame at home. Because honestly, I believe
Right.
people that do that have to live in shame. Because
Mm.
I could say Steph Curry is my boy. We talk. Look, there's a picture of me and him on my Instagram. Blah blah blah. No, no, that came through Under Armour. The Tom Brady thing came through Under Armour. Do I have a great relationship with Under Armour? Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the extent of my reach. But
Yeah.
I get to do dope projects. That's true. But I'll never. I, I
Clout
believe that,
chasing.
yes, and that's another reason why. Like, I think that there's a genuine energy that comes out of the league that I really enjoy, and that I just want to be a part of. And it, if I can make a little bit of money, cool. Do I need to? No. But if I can maybe enrich others, maybe, possibly, that's better. That's because at some point, moral and soulful gratification is more than what the dollars can buy you.
Mm. Wow. I mean, okay, so
Nah,
hands down, okay, really, this has been an amazing hour, and I'm so blessed and honored to you're about to have me crying over here, like, because you are dropping knowledge and you're schooling me, and I've been an artist since I was a kid as well. I'm 45, so I mean, you inspire me, you encourage me
I appreciate
as
that.
my fellow artist friend, DMV, you family. And
Thank you.
I just, I want to say, I thank you so much for showing, just being humble
I appreciate that.
and
Thank you.
being a man of God that, what God put in you to instill in not only your wife and your family and for your children, but to share it with the world.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And you have dropped knowledge for our audience. I mean, I've been seeing the comments coming in. I know I can't get to everybody. I do apologize. But they have been talking about, you're a gem. They're crying because of the things that you're saying. You're speaking truth, and that's what we need, more of,
It
and
means a
less
lot.
of chasing fame and fortune, but doing it for the glory of him and
Yeah,
with just sharing your love, your energy, your artistry with the world. And so I thank you.
I
I
appreciate that.
appreciate you.
So real quick before we go,
Hmm.
there's a couple things that I responsibly I have to mention. Um, you know, I don't know if you've been seeing, but Pedal Share and All City, the art, the paint business that we have, we teamed up to help out um, Hyacinth Place, which is a housing program for mentally ill women that have,
Oh,
because of their illness, they need a place to stay. They either can't hold a job or they're trying to get reacclimated.
okay.
And so we've been doing this drive that is for Valentine's Day because these are women that live alone. They live
Mm.
together, but they live alone, separate in this uh, building. And um, we all know, excuse me, as a married man, I know how important Valentine's Day is. And
Hmm.
I would ask that if I've seen the league get behind it already, but if you have a friend that you haven't told about it yet, if you have someone that you haven't asked yet, that you know maybe could do something, we have our last pickup. Our last drop off location is Saturday at All City in Rockville. Or
Okay.
you can call me, or you can call Levi. We'll go get whatever it is. Um, we ask that it be items, not money, because they need the items. It's easier for them to just have it delivered. But there's a list um, in at Pedal Share. There's a long list of things that they need. I think even the sizes of clothing are listed there. But
Okay.
this is one of those things where just full disclosure, there were 15 women when we started this campaign.
Hmm.
There are now 14 women.
Oh, wow.
So they're dealing with grief, they're dealing with loss, they're
Mm.
dealing with confinement, social distancing, quarantining,
Yeah.
and they're already dealing with their own demons. So,
Mm.
let's reach down inside. Let's see what we can do. Let's get this one last push this week. Again,
Absolutely.
Saturday, the Rockville location is 112 Frederick Avenue. Um,
And where can they
and
find that? Can they find the fly? Is there a flyer or something that they
yes,
can look?
Pedal Share at Pedal Share on Instagram.
Okay.
At All City. Um, you can find it All City Art. You can find it there, and it's super important. And it. I look. I tell everybody this: give.
Hmm.
It is the most amazing feeling that you'll ever have. Just give. Just give. Just
Yes.
it. And we're all look. My basement. There's nothing special here. Um, I'm not acting. This isn't. I'm not going to tell you that I'm in some special place. It's my basement. But you got to give. You got to give. And it's the best feeling on earth. And
Yeah.
being said, please, I'm separating my artwork and my shoes. So Des the Artist 76. That's my new art page. Please give that a follow.
Yes. Please, please, please follow him, you guys. Again, tell them all of your social media so that they can follow you and support you.
There's Des Customs, which is this one, of course. There is All City Art, which is the spray paint page, which we're going to really start focusing after this week on building that. And I have my art page that I'm trying to separate my artwork from my shoes. And that is Des the Artist 76, because I was born in 76. Well, all those scroll back years ago. And yeah, give me a follow. And, thank you.
Yes.
Wonderful job. I applaud you.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
I've seen you grow throughout this whole process. That's been
Oh, thank
really, really cool to watch. And thank you for considering having me. I appreciate that. And
thank you.
and you too. Your spirit is genuinely wonderful.
Thank
You see it every time I watch you interview people, and you know, and I just thank you for the opportunity to be on here today.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you. And we are so happy to have had you and that you're a part of the family. And we can't wait to see what more great things that God has for you.
Well, there's some really dope stuff coming. I promise.
Yes. So you guys got to look out for him.
I'm sorry. I promise. Everybody can leave real soon. On Des the Artist 76 on that Instagram, I will be doing an art giveaway of an actual paint, not a print. It's an actual painting, one of one. I'll be giving it away. So that will be happening next week as well. But you got to start following so you can know about it.
You guys got to go do that. Go follow his page. Well, all right, Des. It's been wonderful. I hope that you have a blessed evening, and thank you so much. And we will see you guys soon. Okay? Bye. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us here on the DMV League art page, Art Talk Tuesdays, where we talk all things art. It has been an amazing time these last 4 weeks, just showing different venues, or not venues, I do apologize. It's been a long night, you guys. But anyway, it's been awesome talking to my fellow artists, friends, and talking about all things art and all the things that they want to do, accomplish, etc., etc. Please come and check us next week, same time, different host. Her name is Indigo Child, and she will be hosting our Art Talk Tuesdays for the next 4 weeks. And yeah, so I will be back, just not for the next 4 weeks. But love you guys. Thank you so much. And go follow our fellow artists. All right. Bye-bye.